Folks, Coach Daryl Johnson here. Hope you're having a fantastic, amazing day. I'm going to give you a little information video. I haven't done a video for a while about a new product we're putting together. And I want to tell you a little bit about how it came to be and what the purpose is. So it's kind of a spurred. I was having a conversation with my friend Jim, who's been doing martial arts like his whole adult life. Very passionate about that. We talk about it a lot. He's like, Daryl, I want to learn Krav Maga, but really, I really just want to learn the essence, the most important things to keep me from getting hurt or killed in a street fight. I've done the belt thing. I've done the rank thing. I'm just kind of like really want to learn nitty gritty. And I hear this actually over the years quite a bit. People are like, I'm not interested in belts and ranks. Now, for another conversation for the day would be the psychology of progression and levels and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of validity to that. But let's focus on this topic. So the topic is somebody wants to learn to protect themselves and they don't have the interest or the ability to commit to an ongoing program and really learn this system. In my years of martial arts, and I've had a lot of them, a lot of people over the years, a lot of instructors, especially the old school karate guys, and it could be kung fu, whatever, they lament that people, sometimes Americans, because being pragmatic as we are, just want to learn something. They don't want to learn the whole background. And let me give you an analogy. Let's say I put together a college and we had a 3 or 4 year degree on metallurgy and welding. So we go into how the gases are refined and how the metal comes to be and different alloys you can use. The way they came up with the temperatures that work best for cohesion between different metals, et cetera, all important and all probably pretty interesting if you're into welding. But then a guy comes and goes, you know what? I got this job starting in 3 weeks. I need to learn how to stick weld steel tubing together to make trailers, and that is a very singular purpose. Although he might be interested in all the other types of welding and all the other materials of welding and how those things came to be, he's like, I just need to know how to weld steel tubing together to make trailers. So I have an option. I can say, well, enroll in my 3-year course and I will teach you all about welding. And semester 3, you'll see the whole class on steel fabrication welding using stick welders and TIG welders and MIG welders. Okay, that's great. He would learn the skill he needs, but he's like, hey, I got a job starting in 3 weeks. I need to learn how to do this one specific thing. And by talking to my friend Jim, and over the years, I put together an idea like, well, how about, obviously I found HTK Krav Maga, which is a whole system. It covers pretty much any element of self-protection you would need. It's all about self-protection, development of yourself through learning how to have a stronger, healthier, physical fitness, self-defense, defense against violence, how to grind through difficult times. Krav Maga training is an amazing process. Martial arts training in general is an amazing process. But I was thinking like, every martial arts instructor that I know does workshops and seminars on certain topics: knife, stick fighting, ground fighting, whatever. And a lot of times it ends up being, I wouldn't use the word random. It ends up being kind of a hodgepodge, maybe not the most thought through thing. Now, that being said, I do follow several instructors who have a very specific, I would call it seminar curriculum, where they have a very, there's a menu, if you will. Hey, I'm coming to your town, or you can hire me, and I'm going to teach you exactly X, Y, Z, like a class plan, like a belt rank. So if we have a belt rank in Krav Maga or Jiu Jitsu or karate, there's a catalog of certain things that you need to know to go from the beginning of that belt level to graduation of that belt level, and that's really very very normal. If you have a semester in college, there's going to be a syllabus on what is going to be taught in that course and what you're expected to learn at the end of that course. And that's kind of how we're used to doing things. The difference is most people don't have a syllabus of material outside the regular, college program, if you will. It's like, well, our white to black belt, we have, these X amount of moves and you got to learn them and do them. And you got to apply them in sparring and yada, 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 which is all, in my opinion, very important. However, there are a lot of people who I think would benefit, and I know that's because people ask me very frequently. Well, I just want to learn how to not die. Our whole goal is to make you harder to kill. So I've working on a syllabus, a curriculum of, we call it street fighting survival. So it's not the entire system. There's no belt ranking. There is a certification process where if you do the workshop and you get a certificate of participation, so I know you have done it, and you can actually apply to actually get a certificate of excellence, which means you've done it and you're good at this stuff. It might mean you have to take the class a few times. No problem. You don't need to have the accolade of being excellent at it. But I want to give you the chance to experience it and see if it's a good fit for you, and see if you can learn the material well enough where you can defend yourself and successfully. There's never a guarantee, of course. So this is where the Street Fighting Survival series comes from. It's a modular system. So, for example, I'll have the dangerous dozen, the 12 very likely self-defense situations you might find yourself in, and we'll cover that. So specifically, that's what we do in that course. I have the essential ground fighting. So it's like, the stuff on the ground that you're likely to encounter, and how to apply it for an offensive element as well. So it's not just defending these techniques and escaping them. It's like, how can I apply them for myself? It's important in Krav Maga that we do the application of techniques that maybe you wouldn't even do yourself, but you need to understand how the technique works so the defense makes more sense to you. So we'll be having we'll have a module on ground fighting. We'll have a module on handgun defense. We'll have a module on, or maybe several modules on, shotgun and rifle defense, and chokehold defense, and takedowns, and all this kind of things that are able to be compartmentalized into their own category. But somebody maybe doesn't want to go through, the 18 months to learn them in a regular classroom setting, or they don't have the ability due to schedule or distancing to I'd love to come and earn my belts in Krav Maga, my ranks in Krav Maga, but I simply cannot because your schedule doesn't work with mine, or I travel for work. I'm in this state for a while and that state for a while, or they have family commitments that prevent them from doing a regular ongoing program. I get it. Guys, I've been doing this business a long time. I've heard every reason in the world why you should do a continuous, consistent course, and I've heard every reason in the world why you would want to do just workshops and seminars. And I think it's important that we offer both, because my mission is to help people who are interested in improving their lives become, harder to kill. Honestly, that's really it. So that is where the Street Fighting Survival series comes from. And it doesn't, obviously guarantee anything, but it gives you a chance to work specifically on one element of that, an element that either you're interested in or maybe you have need for. Maybe you work in corrections, so there's a set of circumstances that are different than what the average person would be. Or you work at nightclub security, so there's a separate set of circumstances that you would face the average person may not face. That is where it comes from. So I'm excited about this. The techniques are going to be basically the same we teach in Krav Maga, but obviously the formatting will be different. And the thing is, I'll be doing video courses on all of these as well. But the best way to learn, as you all know, is to actually do the stuff and have a hands-on instructor teach you. So if somebody cannot come to our headquarters out in the San Diego area, they can book these seminars at a facility near them. Maybe they have a gym they go to, or they have a friend with a karate school that would host it, or they have a corporate office. There's lots of options. But I really am passionate about getting this message out and helping you guys understand that although unlikely, violence is always a possibility. And I need you to be comfortable with defending yourself or those in your care that may not be able to, whether you have children, whether you have smaller members of your family that can't protect themselves. So you have elderly people in your house, or you're caring for your mom or dad and they're up in years. I believe that if you have the ability, you should protect those that are not able to protect themselves, that are in your sphere of influence. That's my belief. Maybe I'm wrong. Possible. Happens before. Anyways, that's Street Fighting Survival. It is part of Harder to Kill Krav Maga. It is not a separate entity, but it is a modular system of specific training. All right, you guys have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you soon.